There's no need to fear. Underdog is here.
Wiggly woggly, tiny whiny stuff.
Comic books. Yay, comic books. What would it be without me going into comic books this week? So, after finishing off all that Civil War stuff, don't forget to tune into Kenny's podcast, Dumbbells and Dragons. You'll catch me and Kenny talking about the original Marvel Civil War and what we're thinking about for the upcoming movie. End of shameless plug. I got to sit back and relax and read things that were not Marvel Civil War. First thing I picked up that I wanted to check out was Marvel. They're relaunching Black Panther. I got one of the variant covers because I kind of like the cutesy mini Marvel covers. An interesting thing is that this issue or this new series is being written by someone who is a correspondent for The Atlantic, where he writes about politics and culture. I would pronounce his name, but I'm going to get it horribly wrong, so I'm still going to pronounce his name, but I apologize ahead of time for getting it horribly wrong. Ta-Nehisi Coates? Artwork is by Brian Stelfreeze. Really enjoyed the artwork in this. I think it still does need to develop a little bit. There's a couple moments in the artwork that make you wonder exactly what you're seeing, but maybe that's intentional. There's definitely more of a politics and intrigue feel to this series, as it covers the idea of him returning to his homeland after having been away, because he is the king of Wakanda, as well as like spending his spare time being a superhero, because apparently that's what kings and princesses and queens do in comic book world. I'm looking at you, Aquaman and Namor and Princess Diana. Well, at least you're an ambassador. Although you are the sole child, you'd think that you'd be in training to be the queen and they'd have to send another ambassador. But, digression. Never understood why he is... why, as a king of such importance to the world, he goes and hangs out as a superhero. But he does. First black superhero in a mainstream comic. So, yay. Good job, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby on that. Introduced in Fantastic Four issue number mumble jumble, I don't know what. You're going to be seeing him in the upcoming Captain America Civil War, and I believe they do intend on giving him a solo movie. Enjoyed this issue. Like I said, we're looking at very much more the ins and outs of the intrigue. He's potentially facing the possibility of an upsurgence in his country. We're looking at his mother, who has apparently still political or ceremonial pull. We're looking at his female guard, what do they call the female guard? The Dora Milaji. I don't know how we're supposed to pronounce that J. So that's his royal guard that he has. One of them's been exiled. Well, one of them was sentenced to death because of an action she took. And another one went and rescued her because they're girlfriends. So, a very nice inclusion moment that actually kind of works. It's only one issue, so I can't say 100% how well it works, but I do like their approach to the relationship. They appear to be potentially a vital part of this story that's going to be happening. So if you get a chance, I would recommend getting the first issue. I do not know how long this first storyline is going to be. Given how, hey, we need to make a trade paperback. These things do tend to be 6 issues, sometimes only 5. But this is definitely going to be a stretched out over thing because it even says A Nation Under Our Feet, Part 1. So, Black Panther, Marvel, thumbs up. I'm definitely going to check out issue number 2, which is saying quite a bit. I'm not a huge Black Panther fan. I did like Priest's run on it a while back, but other than that, I've never been that huge of a Black Panther fan. Because I just don't get them. I don't get them. I don't get I'm a king and I'm an Avenger. I'm going to help stop bank robberies thing. Superman number 51 from DC Comics with the Romita cover. The best thing about the Romita cover is it's not Romita interiors. It's... not that I have anything against Romita. I don't like his Superman, though. There is a much more appropriate artist, I think, for the interiors. Michael Janin. The storyline. This appears to be the beginning of a storyline that will probably lead us into the whole Superman rebirth, because DC is going to be starting their Rebirth month in just like a week or two. Free Comic Book Day. Look for Rebirth number 1. And in this, you find out that the culmination of a few current events and battles that he's been involved in has led to him dying. He's not dying as in like, oh, he died. He's dying as in he is dying. And there doesn't appear to be a cure. Nice little touches here. He's talking with Crypto. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with it, but in the Fortress of Solitude that he keeps, there's always been this statue of Jor-El and Lara Jor-El, his parents, holding up the world of Krypton. It's very, very grandiose. It's nice to see that the parents who actually raised him, Ma and Pa Kent, he finally got around to giving them a statue of them holding up the Earth. It looks a little bit more strained, but at the same time, yay. They deserve it so much more than the L's do. Again, I have issues with their parenting skills. I like this issue. I like this. I think this is possibly one of the better written issues of Superman I've read. I've only been reading off and on because I did not like the new interpretation of him with the New 52. I checked again when he revealed his secret identity, and I didn't care for that. It does appear that as of this issue, he still doesn't have a secret identity, but don't know for sure. He goes and visits Lana Lang. He goes and visits Lois. It looks like he's trying to kind of figure out things before he shuffles off this mortal coil. You know, Grant Morrison did this story. All-Star Superman. Superman's dying. Spent a year telling it. I don't know what they expect to tell us in this one. I will say this. First issue of this I like better than the first issue of Grant Morrison's. But that could just be me. I know so many people who love the Grant Morrison one. I'm not a huge fan of Grant Morrison. End of that sentence. I love his Doom Patrol, and I think that We Three the story We Three is one of the best comic book stories I've ever read, and you should go read it right now if you haven't. Well, finish listening to the podcast. Then go read We Three immediately. Brilliant work. Pretty much everything else he's done, though, just doesn't work for me. And his take on Superman with the New 52 really didn't work for me. Hated his take on Superman. And his take in Superman All-Stars, I just found boring. Okay, not Straczynski boring, but still boring. So, I like how this story's going better, but at the same time, I do feel like I've read it before. I will check out the next issue, issue 52, see how this fares up, and how it's going to lead into Superman Rebirth. So I recommend it, but at the same time, with a little bit of trepidation, it's going to feel like you've gone down this road already. Let's go with another Marvel one. This one's been out for like a couple months. I just finally dug into it. Web Warriors, Protectors of the Spider-Verse. And yes, it's everything that you think that would sound like it would have to be. It is a whole collection of Spider-Man analogs from various universes where there's a Spider-Man. And I guess their job, they've gathered together to help protect universes where a Spider-Man is lacking. Because I guess a Spider-Man is a thing you need to have. Everybody gets one. And some of them didn't have one. So they go out and do this. It's including Spider-Gwen. It's including... Oh, what's the rundown here? It's including Peter Porker, the Amazing Spider-Ham. Or Spectacular Spider-Ham. Sorry. We also have... Spider-Girl, Mayday, who is the daughter of Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson. We have Anya Corazon, who was Aranya, who's become a Spider-Girl also. You can play her in the Avengers Alliance game on Facebook or online. Billy Braddock, who was a member of the Captain Britain Corps, who became a Spider-Man, and he's lost his whole world because of the whole Secret Wars thing that just happened recently. I made a hand gesture that no one's going to get to appreciate. There's a couple others that appear in this issue, and I'm sure that there's more that are going to appear as the series goes on. This issue starts with the introduction of the idea of, hey, there's multiple Spider-Men. Guess what? There's multiple Electros also, and they've decided they're going to go do their thing. Not bad. Not bad. It's also... I don't know. I think you have to be a fan of Spider-Man or these incarnations to want to go down this road. I am a fan of Spider-Ham. I am kind of curious to see where this goes, so I will try it out a little bit. But I won't be surprised if, for me personally, it peters out real quickly, because I'm not a fan of Spider-Gwen. I don't like Gwen Stacy in any form. The Captain Britain Spider-Man does nothing for me. Rania almost could have been interesting, but I don't think she's interesting as a Spider-Girl or Spider-Woman or whatever she's calling herself now. You just have various characters that I just kind of don't care about. And then they have a backup feature that starts in this that presents Lady Spider of Earth 803. and it's a kind of a Victorian steampunk Spider-Man, and I know who that audience is, and this isn't bad. I am not a big steampunk person, and I'm like going, ugh, steampunk again, yay, gears in Victorian time. It's not the main part of the story, and I'm sure that we will get more backup stories of different Spider characters as the series goes on, so this is a wait and see how it's going. Finally, I'm looking at, from Dynamite Comics, first issue from Garth Ennis, A Train Called Love. Ta-da! Interesting thing is that I read this just recently. It didn't stick with me. I can't tell you really much about it. I'm not accustomed to saying that about Garth Ennis. A woman finds out that her obscene phone caller is actually watching from across the street. She goes across the street to confront him. She finds out that he's been assassinated by some British bloke. They sleep together immediately. And in the meantime, there's 3 guys who appear to be maybe trying to form a heist or something at a bar where some girl is wanting to sing and she has issues of some sort. I don't know what these issues are. And then there's 2 guys who were sent to go get the guy who assassinated the obscene phone caller dude. 2 guys show up. It really sounds like I really paid attention. There's a lot going on. A, I'm flipping through the comic book as I tell you this, and B, with all that going on, it doesn't even feel like it's building to anything. It just feels like stuff happening. So I don't know. I will give it one more issue to see whether it gels, but so far this one's a miss, and that's a shame because I actually like Dynamite Comics. I think that they put out some good stuff, and it was surprising to find this one not work for me. So that is Comics Talk for this week. Da 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 da! Comics Talk! Zombie Hand!